Welcome to East Alabama Today, featuring topics, events, and interesting people from all over East Alabama. Hosted by Carl Brady. Now, let's get right to the show. Here's Carl Brady.
Hello, everyone. Welcome into East Alabama Today. I'm Carl Brady. Thank you for being with us on today's program. As always, we're going to start things off with a little contact information for you so you know how to get in touch with us if you have an idea for our show. We would love to hear from you, and the best way to get in touch with me is to send me an email, cbrady@tv24.tv. That's the best way to let me know what's going on in your community, with your community organization, your church organization, anything that's happening in your neck of the woods. You guys are our eyes and ears out on the street. We want to know what's going on in your community and in your neighborhood. So send me emails, cbrady@tv24.tv. We're also looking for the interesting people who live in your community. Maybe you know someone who's a writer, an artist, or a musician. Maybe they have an odd or an interesting hobby and you think they would be a wonderful guest for our show, somebody we'd like to feature. Well, send me information about those folks as well at cbrady@tv24.tv. And if you happen to miss an episode of the show, you'd like to go back and review some information you saw in one of our shows, you can do that online at tv24.tv. All of our shows are posted in the on-demand section there at TV24 website. Just go to the on-demand section, look for East Alabama Today, and you'll see a whole series of East Alabama Today shows that you can watch right there on your computer, your laptop, your tablet, whatever works best for you. You can check it out there at TV24.tv. Stay with us. We've got a show coming up you're not going to want to miss. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back into East Alabama Today. Again, I'm Carl Brady, and today we've got a show for you that's going to be a part of a series of shows that you're going to see over the next few weeks, featuring local East Alabama area nonprofit agencies that have been through a program called Standards for Excellence with the Community Foundation of Northeast Alabama. Now, we've already had the Community Foundation on. We've talked about the standards, what they are, and what the program is. We've also talked already with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Northeast Alabama. They're one of the participants in the program. Today we're going to be talking to an organization based in Anniston called the Community Enabler Developer, and we have with us the director of that organization, Maudine Holloway.
Yes,
welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here with us.
Good to be here.
And Audrey Knoll as well with Community Enabler, and we're going to talk about their organization today and what they do for the community, but we're also going to talk a little bit about their process of going through the program of Standards for Excellence and what that means to you as a member of the community and what that means to them as a nonprofit organization. So a lot of stuff for us to talk about today. And Maudine, just give me an overview of Community Enabler. We hear that name, we've seen the news stories about special projects you've been involved with, but what is Community Enabler? What do you guys do every day?
It's a human service agency. We got started back in 69, 72, so we've been at it a long time.
Oh, wow.
Under the umbrella of the Methodist Church. Mm-hmm. It came from merger of three conferences, the Central, who was black, and the EUB and Methodist, who were both white. When these churches merged, one of the things that was required was that, or was in the agreement, was that community developers go out, get community developers from the black church, but these community developers would not work with worship service and that kind of thing, but get out on the street where people were hurting.
Right.
So that's how we got started. Had to get some training and all that good stuff. And I tell everybody I've been trained for everything you could think of. I've forgotten most of it, but we deal directly with individuals. Emergency groceries, clothing, blankets to the homeless, or even not only the homeless if you don't have blankets and things, but I say we go from the cradle to the grave.
Yeah.
Because over the past 40 years, I have seen everything. I mean, every kind of need. And I've never seen, I tell somebody who brings us stuff, and of course we couldn't do it without the community. I say, I've never seen nothing that somebody couldn't use.
Yeah, yeah.
So instead of, throwing it away or doing something else with it, they bring it to us and we get it. And of course we go through a lot of different things we go through to try to make sure that we get it to the people who really need it. But clothing and grocery, we started off maybe with 2 or 3 cans and somebody stopping by knocking on the door and saying, we didn't have enough food. So our name, our claim, and then of course we have a learning center in Hobson City, Sable Learning Center, where we take the kids after school, and we've had some good kids that come out of that center in Hobson City.
I did not realize that this was a faith-based organization that was related to local churches as well.
Yes, came out of the church. We are non-for-profit, independent, and all that other good stuff now, and. But we got our start. We began under the, and then the other churches been pretty good to work with us. Now we try to say to them that, we're not Methodist, Baptist, Presbyterian. We're God. We whoever you needs us.
Yeah, whoever needs
yes,
you. Right,
yes,
right.
yes. That's what we try to spread, to make it known that we're out here for the folks who need us.
How do you identify the needs in the community?
Well, we have you sign up. Years ago, you always had to sign up, but we couldn't do check-in. But now that we have the charity tracker, we know if you went to some Sisters yesterday, or you went to some other agency in town, or even if you went to some agency out of town, and we know how many times you went. We can follow you down and see some of the people who will just keep coming, and people will keep having needs. I'm not saying they don't. What I'm saying is that we want to know that that's a legitimate need.
Right. You don't want people taking advantage.
Yes, don't take advantage of
things.
Because we couldn't be here without the good people of the community.
Right.
You people make it happen, because we don't get enough money. We just kind of run off the grace of God. And so we check and see if you've been somewhere else, and that's a really good blessing. We would call around before then, but now we can just get to the computer. In a few minutes, Audrey can tell you whether you've been somewhere else and how many times you've been and what you got, and that way that kind of helps us. We try to weed out the needy from the greedy as much as we can.
I like that, needy from the greedy. Haven't heard it put that way before. Very good. Well, you guys are providing an amazing service. More than almost 6,000 people a year come in and utilize your services. That's a lot of people in the community.
That's right. That's a lot of people.
Do you just base in Anniston? What's your service area?
We say Calhoun County, but we got people from Gaston, Talladega, and Heflin. Now, if you come to us and tell us you're hungry, we're not going to let you leave. If you call me and you say, I've got a family that needs some food or needs some clothing, you said, I saw them, they come down by the radio station today. I said, send them on. And we're going to get them clothes, coats, food, whatever they need, as much as we possibly can. And we don't have monies to pay bills, but we will take care of the food and the clothing, and we'll take care of anybody. However, our funders from Calhoun County say, out of the county, I just tell them, well, I'm not going to send nobody away who come home.
Right. So where does the funding come from? Donations from churches, private donations from individuals? Where does the bulk of your donations come from?
United Way, people in Audrey, here, you're going to help me out with that.
United Way, County Commission, and City of Anniston, the CDBG, which is a Community Development Block Grant, which helps us purchase food. We have some individuals who would just specify, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars and I want it to be used just for food. And we've got some who will say, well, I'm going to buy just coats or, and another thing, toiletries. We say a lot of people go to hotels and you get that little soap. Nobody wants it because you take your own. Right. Bring that back. Right. You'll be surprised how happy that little piece of soap will make somebody so happy
Wow.
just to be able to take a bath and be clean for one day. It's just amazing. And when you go to Walmart, the trash, those bags they put your food in, when they come to us, we have to bag it up in something. So
Right.
We use those bags.
we
Use the bags.
use those
the
bags.
bags.
And so we get a lot of donations, but we also get a lot of reusable stuff. You know, the Stringfellow Hospital, after they serve their patients, what's left over, we rebag it and give it out to our clients, because sometimes that's the only meat product that we may have. So it's, you know, we've got funding and we've got different donors. So it comes from different sources, but in the, you know, it all equals out in the end. So it's for the need.
Talk about your location. How do people come to you? Where do they find you, and what can they expect?
Right now,
you
we've
talked a little bit about
moved. Yeah.
checking, you know, where they've been before. But I know some similar agencies are. Some of them are set up like a store where you can go through and pick out clothes and different items and kind of shop instead of just
That's
having
the way we
everything
do.
handed over to you. So talk about your location and how people can find you and what the process they
Our
can
new
expect.
location is 104 F Street, right on the corner of F and Wilmer. And what we don't just bag it up and give it to them. We let them come in and pick and choose, because I may have some spaghetti in my pantry, but no spaghetti sauce. And I may bag up some pinto beans, and you may not like pinto beans, so it's going to be a waste. So we
right.
let you pick and choose the number of items depending on how many people's in your family, as well as the clothing, because, you know, everybody have a different, like, you know, I've got children, so I'm like, Mom, I'm not going to wear that. So, you know, but to me, I'm thinking, well, what's wrong with it? You know what I'm saying? You know, but everybody has a different taste.
Right,
So we let them choose their own clothing as well as choose their own food. Now, we do have some items that we get from Publix or the grocery store, so we'll just give them those items. We don't even, you know, we just let them have those items, because, you know, if we trying to buy a staple of food, like something that's going to stick to your ears, but we also, you know that there's children there and they want a cake or some cookies or something, so we have those extra items that we just give to the families.
But we don't use our monies to buy. Now our monies go into staple foods. If we get meats, and we call them free items because they're given to us, and well, all of it is free, but we just say we don't count that against the amount of food you get, because we can't buy sweets, and we're gonna get some rice and some grits, and we do buy pancake and cereal mix because youngsters can fix that.
Right.
For them to come in and pick out, but cookies and a lot of other sweets, but we pick up from Publix, and Mr. Dorsey, before he went out of business, was good about helping us out with items. And then there are sometimes the churches will buy stuff, but Publix has just really been a really, really lifesavers to us for people are eating better.
Yeah, because Publix is coming to town.
Yeah. And the soup bowl, when it gets an overflow, you know, we have a soup bowl there in Anniston too. And if they get an overflow and they don't use sweets and stuff, then they divide with us, and that's another big blessing for the people in our community, for us to be able to hand things out. Clothing. We're just opening in a thrift store, because when we moved, we had so much, our expense is much greater where we are. So we open a thrift store, and we hope that it's going to do okay to help us offset the campus, because we got 2 parsonage and annex and the church chapel, and we divided the church into 2 parts. One part's the chapel, and the other part is the clothing room. So you got a big, long clothing room to go down through there and pick out shoes and stuff that you want.
Now, what days of the week are you open, and what hours during those days?
Monday through Friday. We close from 12 to 1 for lunch, but we there to 4:30, Monday through Friday.
8 to 4:30?
8 to 4:30.
8 to 4:30.
Because
Monday
most
through
of the time
Friday,
we're
except
there.
for lunch.
Yeah, most of the time we're there then, because they still keep coming.
Now, I know that we've been talking about donations of money and donations of food and clothing and things like that, but you guys have a desperate need for volunteers as well. This
Absolutely.
is to keep the facility open, those kind of hours, to sort, stock, and serve people. Talk about volunteer opportunities in the organization.
We've got a board member that's just outstanding as far as volunteering is concerned. He started volunteering it was their church that give us the building, so he's been following us through that. But we have to be very very careful because we're dealing with clothing, we're dealing with foods. We take a lot of folks from the courts who need to do some community service time.
Right.
And we have some volunteers, but we have to do volunteer training. They have to know. They have to know the confidentiality of the records, because we have, you know, if you're in there volunteering and somebody come in and you know that person, there's, you may know something that we should know, but you don't tell that until you tell it to an employee afterwards.
And you don't get it on Facebook and say, guess who came in?
Guess who came in today, and where she was yesterday or something. So the confidentiality thing is, we have to do some training with our volunteers, but we love to have volunteers. We got some hopefully coming. Well, we got some there today that's looking at the Homeless Coalition. Is that where they're from?
It's point in time.
But we need you, so call us. And in the Sable Center, we need you working with those kids on reading. And, you know, our kids, last year, we had out of 32 enrolled, we had 27 A and B honor roll students.
Wow.
So we had 2 straight A's.
Yeah,
we're real proud. We're really proud. This year we're not so proud. We're having some problems, but so we need some help. We need some help.
A few extra volunteers, a little extra work.
Would help us out there.
Absolutely. Well, we need to take commercial breaks, and we'll do that and be back to continue in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back into East Alabama today. We're talking with the community enabler developer of Anniston. We've been talking about their organization, what they do, how they serve the community. And we want to talk now about Standards for Excellence. Standards for Excellence is a program that was brought into East Alabama by the Community Foundation of Northeast Alabama. It's an opportunity for nonprofit agencies throughout the area to be certified in Standards for Excellence. And you guys went through that process last year. It's several months and a lot of work. But talk about why this was important to you guys to go through the program.
Well, first of all, we needed I don't say we've been there for a long time, but there were folks who still didn't know us and just didn't know about us. First of all, it tightened our operation. You know, if you asked us for a guide for training volunteers, we can pull it out. All of these things that we had some and some we didn't have, but it really called you in accountability of who you are and what you are called to be. It's a great experience. It's hard work, but it's a great experience. And I'm gonna leave some time for Audrey, because I can talk about it. The accountability, the confidence that other folk who are supporting you, it's like it shines a little bit brighter light on your program.
Absolutely, and that's one of the major things with Standards for Excellence of the confidence that the community can have that this organization has been through this process. They have learned the correct way to keep the books, how to be above board and open about everything that they do, and that when you make a donation or you volunteer for this organization, you can have confidence that it is a good, quality, legitimate organization that you're volunteering with. Audrey?
It also gave us transparency for our finances for our donors, because now everything goes on QuickBooks, and which means that we can track each donor and let them know what they gave, when they gave it, how much they gave, and that sort of thing. And also, as far as our board, it made us a tighter board members, because now everybody knows that we have policies and procedures in place, and that we follow those policies and procedures, and everybody stays on track. And that all ties back into our mission statement, which makes us all more accountable.
Talk about the process a little bit. And I know it was a difficult process at times, but talk about that process and what other nonprofits can expect if they sign up to go through it?
It's a tedious process, but in the end, it's worth it. Because at first we were going to put everything in a binder, and we were going to like send all the binders in. But when we got through, the binders were like this thick. So we were going to kill the postman. They would be so heavy. So we know with 8 agencies. So what we ended up doing is putting them on the flash drive and sending them to the standards. And Melissa sent, she sent us information back saying, I need this, I need this, I need you to critique this, and each thing that she sent back had to be voted on by the board. So it's like everything that was there was accountable, because each board member had to vote on it. We had to vote on executive director's compensation. We had to vote on the board members to see if they were doing their job. We had to vote on staff to see if they were on track, as well as the volunteers. And it was, like I say, it was a lot of hard work, but in the end, it was well worth it. Because now anybody can come in and say, let me see your policy for this, let me see your policy for this, let me see your policy for that. And, and we can give them that.
Yeah. And in the Community Foundation had some interns and people who work with you through the standards organization. So you weren't just left out alone. They helped you gather these
we met
guidelines.
Monthly. It was a
meet on a
monthly basis, and then we'd go over what we'd done and what we done wrong. We'd take it back and work on it some more. And then when the intern came in, she really just came to the office and sit down with us and worked with us one-on-one. And that really pulled us through the end. Because all through the years, I've always had to get out and raise my own money for the agency. Last year was the first year that my board just told me, I don't want to see you till the day we have in bosses for bosses. They had a fundraiser, and we had just moved, and we was really behind and needing some money. And normally I would have had to been on the phone trying to raise it or trying to find it. And it makes a whole difference in your board. They raised, I didn't have to raise a dime. I mean, not in that fundraiser. I had nothing to do with it. So it makes them feel, it gives them a part, because they're in some training too. Not only are you trained, your board is trained. So they can buy into what you bringing back to them.
Right.
So
it makes them more engaged.
Yes.
Instead of just attending a meeting and voting on something occasionally, they really get more into the organization.
That's right. I would hardly encourage any organization, it's non-for-profit, to take this course, become a part of it. You won't regret it. I mean, you're going to cry some, but that's all right. Pull out with a few hairs, but that's all right. In the end, you're going to be happy.
Absolutely. Well, we need to take another commercial break and come back and we'll wrap things up. So we'll be back in a moment. Well, our final segment today with Community Enabler, and of course, if people need more information, if they want to volunteer, if they want to make a donation, or if they find themselves in need of your services, what's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
Give us a call at 256-237-6144. If that number's busy, 237-3238. Either one of those numbers, or 104 F Street in Anniston. Give us a call.
Absolutely, and you can talk with folks about, as we said, volunteering, donating, and whatever kinds of things you need to donate, from money to goods and those kind of things.
And things that you think that, like I said earlier, you may think that it's no good and you won't use it, but there are folk out there who will.
Absolutely. Well, ladies, thank you so much again for being with us on the program. It's been great to learn about Community Enabler. And folks, we appreciate you for being with us on today's show as well. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next week.